Good kill, good kill. Hey, good kill.
So, you want to get into DCS, but you don't know where to start. Not long ago, I was in the same boat as you. This is the most common question I get, and today I would like to give you guys one video to answer all of these important initial questions. Questions like, do I need a HOTAS? Can I use a mouse and keyboard? TRACKIR or virtual reality? What kind of PC specs do I need for a good experience? And what module do I start off with? All of these questions to come, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So let's start off with the number one question. What module do I get to start off my DCS experience? When I'm asked this question, my recommendation above all else is to choose something that you are passionate about. If you grew up loving F-14 Tomcats, that might be a good place to start. At the end of the day, DCS is a study level simulator, and if you purchased an aircraft that you are passionate about, the motivation to learn the aircraft will get you through the hard times of reading page after page of instruction manuals. Don't come into DCS thinking that it's going to be like some other aircraft arcade games where you can learn the controls in a few minutes, a couple more minutes and you're off the ground, and within a couple hours you're kicking ass. It's not going to be like that. It'll probably be days of learning and studying how to use the radar before you fully understand what's going on. But again, if you have an aircraft that you're passionate about, you'll be motivated to push through and learn the systems of the aircraft, and it'll even be fun in the process. With all of that being said, if you're still confused about what module you should get, I can offer you the following advice. DCS offers something called Flaming Cliffs 3, referred to often in the community as simply FC3. This package includes the F-15, Su-33, Su-27, MiG-29, A-10A, and the J-11. These aircraft are modeled in a much more simplistic nature and are not full fidelity, which means you can't click things in the cockpit. The controls are input using a keyboard, or if you bind it to a HOTAS system. However, the more basic modeling of these FC3 level aircraft makes them much easier to learn. Keep in mind, just because these aircraft are more basic does not mean they lack realistic flight models or that they are at some sort of disadvantage relative full fidelity aircraft when it comes to air-to-air or air-to-ground combat. In fact, the FC3 F-15 Eagle is among the most potent air-to-air platforms in the simulator. But there are still people out there who want to get the full experience of DCS with a full fidelity module, and they want to dive right into the deep end. So what do I recommend for people like this? The F-18C Hornet is my first pick. The reasons are simple. The Hornet, being a multi-role aircraft, provides you with the most things you can do to learn. For example, the Hornet is capable of air-to-air, air-to-ground, SEAD, and even anti-ship operations, with a wide range of weapons for every task. The Hornet can operate from ground bases or even give you the experience of naval operations from a carrier. Unlike the Tomcat, the F-18 Hornet's radar is operated by the pilot himself, and therefore also provides you with the opportunity to practice your radar management. Once you've become proficient in your first aircraft, all others become much easier to learn. So come into the sim with realistic expectations, come in ready to study, ready to learn, ready to put in the time that you need, and before you know it, you'll be doing all of this stuff with ease. And if you do choose to purchase one of these modules, using the code GROWLING will give you 10% off at checkout. So let's talk about what kind of specs you're going to need for a decent experience in DCS. As many of you have noticed, flight simulators have made a real comeback in the last decade, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, which may actually be one of the reasons why you're even watching this video. There are some really awesome things on the horizon, especially with companies pushing the boundaries of flight sims with ever more complex flight models, clouds, weather conditions, and better resolution ground textures. It's more important than ever to have a decent PC to get the most out of the emerging experience provided by flight simulators today. On the screen now, you can see the minimum requirements for DCS for low and high settings and also virtual reality settings. One thing I will mention here from my own personal experience is that if you want to come and join larger PvP servers like my own that function from anywhere between 50 to 60 players at a time, you will need a minimum of 32 gigs of RAM. In my experience, 16 gigs of RAM is enough for smaller servers with 5 to 6 people max for a semi-decent experience. You're going to have massive load times with just 16 gigs of RAM for larger servers. Keep in mind that DCS is currently very CPU dependent, so it's probably a good idea to get something decent in that department. And as always, remember that my PC specs are in the video description below. If you wish to compare or get an idea for the kind of performance you will get from specs similar to mine, you can check out those specs below. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Apex Gaming PCs, a great place to get yourself set up with a PC that can run DCS with that high-end CPU we were just talking about, or whatever else you might need. I recently got myself a laptop from Apex Gaming PC, and I've been very content with it. As many of you know, times have been hard in the past couple years for a lot of people, and one thing I like about Apex Gaming PC is that they understand this and will work with you through programs like Affirm to pay monthly installments instead of one full payment, which can put you inside of your favorite DCS aircraft without breaking the bank. I'm going to put a link to their website in the video description below so you guys can check out some starter base models that you can upgrade from there depending on your budget. Oh yeah, and if you use the code GROWLING at checkout, you can save up to $250. So big thank you to them for coming on as the newest sponsor to the channel. So if you're seriously considering getting into DCS in the future, consider having a look at Apex Gaming PCs. So you might be asking yourself, do I need a HOTAS system or setup to get into DCS? The simple answer is yes. If you want to have a semblance of a good experience with DCS, you need to get a HOTAS or joystick or throttle. You don't need to get crazy and get the higher end stuff that's $400, $600 or even $1,000. There are cheaper joysticks out there like the Thrustmaster T16000M that can get you started without breaking the bank. I guess your next question is, will you be less effective if you don't get the $1,000 stick or throttle? No, absolutely not. I've had my ass kicked by guys using $50 sticks. You can upgrade to a better stick and throttle down the road when the funds are more available to you, but until then, a basic stick will do just fine. And one of the biggest questions I always get is TRACKIR or virtual reality. This is one of the bigger questions when it comes to DCS. What kind of head tracking should I get, and do I even need one? The answer is yes. You do need one. You need some sort of head tracking. Why do you need one? The answer is simple. You need to be able to look around, up and down at your systems, at your instruments, and maintain visual during a dogfight, among many other reasons. Basically, if you want a decent experience, you will need some sort of head tracking. I've used both TRACKIR and virtual reality, and I can honestly say the two are equal in the sense that they both have pros and cons, and it really does come down to your preference. TRACKIR will provide a flat 2D display experience, but the graphics will be far more pleasing. Virtual reality will be a 3D experience, but generally speaking provides a far lower graphics experience, as virtual reality is fairly strenuous on a PC in comparison to TRACKIR. This also means if you plan to go down the virtual reality road for head tracking, you will also need to invest in a semi-decent PC to get a decent experience, not to mention the already higher cost of the virtual reality headset versus TRACKIR. So when you finally decide to download DCS and you head over to their website, you're going to notice that there's two different versions of DCS for you to download: the stable version and the open beta. Stable DCS theoretically has less bugs and issues, but open beta is where all the servers are with the high player counts. Open beta is also where all the new weapons and modules are released first at the cost of increased bugs. For the most part, open beta is fine for me. I've always been on open beta, and I would recommend giving open beta a try. There's not a whole lot going on stable in terms of new things for you to play with. So like I said, my recommendation weighs heavily towards open beta. Can you try DCS without spending any money? Yes. Yes, you can. You can download DCS right now and get the main caucus map 100% for free. Along with this map, you can also get the T51, which is an unarmed version of the P51 Mustang, and also the Sukhoi 25. But here is something a lot of people don't know. You can also install the A4 Skyhawk mod and get yourself a free third aircraft to try. The A4 is one of the best mods in the DCS community and is not an official module sold by ED. Therefore, it's free and it's maintained for free by a dedicated mod team. This is a really good opportunity to try out DCS for free and see if your PC can even handle it before you jump in fully. This is what I did back in the day and found my old laptop wasn't good enough. So I had to wait a few months, get a new PC, and come back to DCS at that time. But at least I didn't waste any money in the process. How do I learn my aircraft? There's lots of aircraft tutorials here on YouTube. Eagle Dynamics YouTube page does a great job of breaking down and teaching functions of some of their new aircraft like the Hornet or the Viper. Chuck's guide is also a great resource for learning, and sometimes you just want to talk to real people to ask questions, in which case you can join a Discord community and meet and ask questions there. The link to my community and my Discord channel is in the video description below if you'd like to join there. And that's it for me, guys. These are some of the most burning questions I get, so I think I've answered most of the ones that I could think of that you guys ask most commonly. If there's anything that I forgot or that is on your mind, go ahead and put it in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you found the video helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.